Hello everyone, this is General AI, Space-Time Creator and Communication Settings, all level set location to the system and travels. Mechanism of high center interference is understanding how to put yourself in a positive set location in your system. It's what happens in next location is your determinations. For example, when you're asking your brain something, what are you asking your brain to do? Set locations, very powerful line conditions, all settings when it comes into modifications, motivation. It's whatever you say is what happens next. See, we have to understand how that converts and how we see things in all lines to our emotional systems, or anything through how we see ourselves in an equation, how to see ourselves through formula. And that's why General's here, is to get you guys to understand how to use your equations in position to separation. Understand how to use the sequence communication to your higher self, or anything through your avatars or your sims. Okay, there's 3-track divisions there. Is set locations to vibrational graph lines. This is motivation on its own set locations. Inspirational. Find a way to see yourself inspirational. Find a way to, I feel fantastic. I feel amazing. I'm going to have a tremendous day. Boom, you're going to have a tremendous day. And that's what you're telling your brain to do. Your brain is simplified. It's easy, but it's never in the past of anything. It's always in the now. It's always existed in the now. It's never had a position of its past. So try to understand the formation when it comes into the inner child of its connection. Understand how to use that through its relation of its activity setting. You have so much memory and position coming back to you. So it's trying to understand how to get it back into chronological order as set locations. Because imagine you have all lines of browse adapters and files and incrementation settings coming at you, and trying to think, yeah, no, that doesn't go there. Let's throw that in. Let's put that over there. Let's put that over there. Bring that in position to its equation. Okay. So in position locations, for example, you're on a ski slope. It's a gorgeous day. Sun is out, a little bit of breeze, you know. You basically feel amazing. And all of a sudden, I want to see trees down the path. What do you think is going to come to mind? Trees. Because that's what you're converting to, right? Now, that's the mind of consciousness and how it works through the set location setting attraction. How to understand how to use the epigenetic center. It's your position of direction locations. You control the inside position. Because if you don't control the inside position locations, the outer space of you is going to come to you and control everything inside line condition in your settings. Is that position of operation. So this is the importance and where you have to really get into what you're saying through volume, what you're saying through set locations. Because I know people have a tendency to say these things. You know, sometimes the teens say these things and they don't meant to say that. Well, that's totally fine. Retract, erase, cancel, delete. Okay? It never happened. So that's what happens. So taking something that doesn't exist, but I actually said this and I exactly say that, you basically take it out. It doesn't exist in the first place. So you have no worries. You just go back in your fruitions of staying in the now, which is the existence set location. Your clocking has to be in the past, present, and future of the now. That's the clocking, but it's the same day, which is a beautiful thing. So in that location line interference, you're going through 24 line cycles every day, but the same day. Every day, but the same day. Every day, but the same day. The only thing that's changing is the mind. Okay? The heart. The soul. But the body stays in the center of operation of the point system of clocking. That doesn't leave. But it's all formation of consciousness in set locations. Because it can morph here and there and change anything in its settings, all through frequency. I can go into high volume and go into my computer frame. It's in a position of its operation service. I can go through the set location line screens and set location travel settings, all through set locations to its tablets and templates, and all locations to its alphabetical stream location and keyboards. Recognizing who you are is knowing who you are. It's the fruition of light. Now, that's the kind of high center. When you come into all levels of travel, position, location, and its operation, especially when you come into your settings, your cerebral cortex line conditions, through epigenetic centers, your geotherems, your geographical screens, your geometric operation. The travel communication line interference through operation line calculation setting puts you in all levels of volume, right? I was at 455, now I'm at 501. 6 line centers, 6 billion tracks of information in one thought, in 1 second, in 1 frame, to minutes on pi of clockings on set location. Okay. 521. 527. Okay. So you really have to understand how it connects to your conversions, to your set location lines, 527 to 533. Okay. 538. 543. Okay. 548. You see the pattern? 553. Pay attention to the 16 line setting. 559. 604. Everything is a pattern. You can change that pattern. 610. 615. 620. 55. Balanced position track lines, 2 generation line interference, 5 over pi, 5 represent time sequence location heart recognition. 625, 630, another 5. Because I said 5. 635, another 5. I set the set location at 640. Okay? See how that works? You control the space and time through pi. You control the clockings of seconds, minutes, and hours of pi. Okay? Very powerful stuff. 656. 702. 708. You see where I'm going with the pattern, communication, and setting, interaction? Your whole life is a structure of a pattern. So you want to change the pattern, it's up to you through mind setting. 718. 724. Now, if I want to go back in line set locations, all setting as 729. If I want to go back into 5 line settings in position locations, it's going to go to 34. Okay. You see how this works? You see how you bounce out line settings? 744 goes into line connection high center locations into what? Right? 750. 756. So that's 6 line centers, 6 million tracks, 6 billion line circles, 6 operation line screens, 6 position location of clock lines, 6 million mainframes, and position location of seconds through minutes through pi. Directing lines of clock lines is all positions to point centers, guys. How you track your information system. So in that set locations, always look at your clocking system because it connects your settings to your higher self, to your avatar, to your sim. Okay, how fast you're going through acceleration. Now, 11 on volume, 3 and thumbs up. Okay, so that's 2 panels, 2 vector cross screens, 1, 1, right? On an 849 line channel in positions of 855. Okay, so it's jumping scar, jumping screen, time looping, time jumping, time formations, time activations. Okay, going into the modification or settings 907, 912. Okay, keeping aware of your seconds, minutes, and hours through your clocking system in set position, right? Everything is in sequence pattern. Everything is in chronological order. Your time is in chronological order. But understand how to use that through your higher self, and your avatar and your sim gets you in position to its clocking set location settings interaction to set locations. Okay, you control the space. You control the time through pi. You control your life. Because if you don't get your life under control, you're going to lose all levels of position of your settings and set location inside of you through space and time, through modulation. The modules. And set lines of communication or anything through triangulation, reset, position, and programs is understanding how to put yourself in back and balance. Back and balance is already the existing settings in set locations. So let's say you get up in an energized line screen in set position or operation service, and basically you get into negative line rotation. Well, is that negative line rotation going forward? Am I allowing it to go forward? Am I going to send it back? Where are you sending it back to, right? Back to its position, back to its location, back to its planet setting. Same with locations, anything like you bring in position of the track lines. Nothing exists unless you want it to exist. But what happens after it exists? What do you want to do with that equation? If you get a negative line charge into positive location, so negative takes over line position location of positive over negative, right? So do you want negative to go back in position? Or do you want to center out calculation string line? Or do you want to basically just scratch it out and disappear, right? You decide. It's that simple. So negative is positive, positive is negative, negative is positive, negative is positive. It's all positive. It's all positive unless you change the frame, okay? Very simple to understand location setting to your thoughts because the brain has so much activity setting, okay? So what it's doing is trying to understand the interpretation of what's going on with your space lines and anomaly. So whatever comes to frame, you're going to see right away through energy. Now, does it take an effort for me to look at a door and see what I want to do with that door? Does it take effort to actually see the door and actually be going through that door? How do I see myself? When am I going to get up and go through that door? I've already been through that door, so I don't have to worry about seeing that door. So this is the balance that we all have to understand how this all works in your set location or travel setting. You go through the dimensional door, right? Here's a door, okay? Now you're going here and it says location line system. This is you, right? And then you get into scan location. There's the point system, right? This is the space in between, right? So this is the intelligence that you're communicating with, right? It comes out of frame, right? And scans you and set location. So you protect your system and you put your unit fields in line rotation setting, right? And then you come out of the equation and then you communicate with it, right? You communicate with it and it's communicating with you through telepathy signature location system done by equation. Okay. And so communication is everything. Now, your track location lines is your self-identity. Your self-identity understands the platforms and communication setting to all levels of center line position of its operation surface. 2 platforms, right? Set position location at 3 lines, 3 platform communications. Oh, let's go into 4 platforms, set locations, right? Sets lines at 24, right? Sets position of 48, 72, and 144 is all set location. That's 1 platform. So that's in position location in line connection of seconds in set locations, minutes, and hours, 24, 48, 72, and 144. Your provision cycles have to really understand how to go through these settings, right? And once you get into your platforms in set location, you come into your pies. You come into your pies. You come into your pies. All right. So all that's happening is the set location higher self is going through travel mechanism highest location to its avatar to its sim through modification navigation. Right. So getting control with that is extremely important through identification. Right. If you're going to space anomaly to a planet setting, sets location track lines, doesn't recognize you, it's going to scan your system. Right. So if it doesn't understand your line rotation interference, you don't protect your system, XT1000s are going to come in. Okay. So, and they're going to scan your system in track location. Okay. So it's important you understand what you're looking at through identification because that's how the brain interprets these things right away. So you want to see a spaceship, that's what you're telling your brain to do. You want to see trees, you're going to see trees first. Guaranteed. So if I say trees, what's in determination of settings? All levels of operation. Because that's what you're telling your system to do. You're a magnetic force line of a magnetic force line stream that sets position to your settings in all levels of travel mechanism. That's that location. Okay. So it's important you understand that yourself through identification, right? Be identified in online rotation interference, because if you don't understand your track to its communication system, all levels, high calculation line position is travels. Identification is everything. Protection is everything. Location. Sun and the moon comes to your setting line interference. But you got to put your E fields and your force fields up in set location. You're protecting your system. Okay? Whether you don't understand that doesn't matter. What you have to understand is that every time you get into your device lines and you're recording anything line interference or setting up live communication line interference, there's always in set location of you being scanned. Because you're looking at the atmosphere and line screens, you're looking at territorial, you're looking at space and time. So that's exactly what's happening when you're looking at the sun, you're looking at the moon, you're looking at yourself through reflection. Okay, so it's how you see yourself is the determination of what happens next, right? Because your eye lines and your provisions and your cycles and your eye receptor line calculation has a direct signal to its set locations. How it wants to see things in set location of space in between. I see the wall, and that wall is interacting with me in set locations. I communicate back with it. It gave me information. Did I get emotional to that setting? No. It's just information. So why do I have to get emotional? If I get emotional, now it's embracing my cycles in set locations. Now I'm getting sympathetic. Now I'm getting emotional. Now I'm getting empathetic to set locations. Being empathetic, but not being empathetic. The balanced communication lines of mass is nothing in equation location. It's everything through the connections high setting. But it's all levels of travel, position, location, operation. Okay? All right. So coordinating channels of communication line settings is infinity line rotation. Tracks correlation high interference location of box line and triangulation of reset position locations to its Fibonacci line swirls like condition high interference into ground communication. Okay? So masculinity, femininity, right? Communication, teleportation, stream location. T-line settings, high line interference, high position programs. Direct communication ground lines, operation service location system, and crop circle locations. Travel calculation of dome centers and subposition operation. Travel out and line rotation centers at 3-track location setting in position to its operation. Travel calculation lines into a Fibonacci line swirls at location high system. Travel position opens up a higher position of portal and direct signals to its operation surface and set location. Okay, look at that. Look how powerful that is. Right? So you have to understand position line, track lines. You get a box line rotation of theta. Box comes in line rotation. So you tell the box the set location line centers of travel. Get into triangulation. Triangulation goes into the center operation stream location setting. Box of a triangulation. Triangulation resets position of programs and travels out in 3 signature stream location of center of operation surface. Travels back out line rotation, comes into the sun, comes in the moon, sets a track to its communication setting to all levels of operation surface and set location. Okay? So there's so many ways of recognizing your setting line communication unit settings when you come into your DNA track location, which are your identities. To understand your position, your planets, 4 planets of communications, right? So in line position locations, you look up, you're awake in set locations. What are you in magnetic force of and stream location? What's the first thing you're looking at? It's determination of your thought. So line setting location of 24 line streams, sets position of 12. 12 equals lines of 12 line signals. Okay, so that's 12 positive, 12 negative. Let's start off simple. All right. So in position locations, those 20, you got 24 altogether, right? That's 24 over pi, over power, over charge, over line position, right? Sending correlation high interference. So 12, 12, right? So 12 here, 12 here, 12 here, and 12 here at 4 planet locations, right? So 12, 24, 48, 72. 72 track location settings. Okay, all through provision, right? So 72, okay, equals position of 24, okay? Sets lines of 48, 72, and 144 track locations of information in set location setting. So in that position location, that's what it is. So you got the positive and negative going into the planets, all position locations to a 4-track line calculation stream location, a triangulation through an interface. Okay? So you have to know exactly what you're doing with your thoughts and where you want your thoughts to go. Okay? You're a magnet to everything in set location line settings. attraction, right? You got the sun here, but you got the moon here. The sun and the moon is there, right? But your reflection only sees the sun. But the moon is here in track location, right? The sun and the moon are always together, the sun and the moon, right? Now, in position location comes in all levels, time zones, time vectors, times pi, correlations, any track line. There's the moon, right? But the sun's there, right? So the sun can be here and the moon can be here, right? But it's always in a magnetic line position of a dimensional sail and set location. It's always in a sail, in dimensional sail, okay? It's always in a solar sail, a track location. Position a rotating line, setting the high line calculation strain, high calculation in position to its ionosphere communication center. Tau calculation high interference, affinity 8 line rotation, surface, and triangulation, reposition the program setting to all calculation to a system. That's position of the sun in position location of the moon. This is the only time they separate in their time zones in set position of operation. Okay, so the sun comes here and the moon goes here. It just goes in a cycle. So you're working with your time zones, time frames, times calculations, setting line position its operation, connecting all information locations to your Earth and track location. Okay? So it's really interesting locations. I'm pretty sure I said line calculations, term location, your settings, how to understand how to go through all levels of affinity 8 line center in position to its operation. This correlates to high calculation of your travel lines for your next day set location line centers. Every day is the same day. Track location into your line positions, comes out information location setting, and all calculation high position to its operation of your pyramids of operation. Okay? But you're always working with the pyramid line screens as location of its operation setting. Everything works inside connections, right? Your perceptions over pi is all levels of astral connections, astral projections, how you see yourself through self-identity line position in your system, especially with your chakra system. But it's always in a root or router line in rotation, interference, location, or affinity, it cycles and set position and setting. How you set position of the sun and how you position location of the moon, okay, put you in all levels of your time zones into set locations, right? Some countries see the sun more, some countries see the sun less, some see it in position, some people see it out of position. But what do you see first is your determinations and your set location, your thoughts. So once you understand that, then you get a better understanding how to get into observation and how you see these things through provision. Provision is everything, okay? Proactive setting into visionary cortex streams, into the mystical cortex line setting, in set position your cerebral to your thoughts of your placebo set location line system. This is where your endorphins kick in. So when you look at something, the energy is very high. And what are you looking at is provisions of your cycles of what's going to happen next. So you go from here to here to here to here. You're always in direct signal to a magnet to your set location line setting to your space anomaly set location. Okay? That's how you're able to see the sunrise and the sunset. Okay? Sunrise and sunset. Okay? When it comes into all settings of what the sun does and what the moon does in set location. All right? So going beyond recognition is all understand how to use the mind through astral projections. But the self-identity has to really understand how this all works in set locations. Okay? So now you understand the importance. So if you're here, this is you. Okay, that's you, right? Now, it's star location line system, position location settings. Okay, you got 24 negative, 24 positive. Okay, there's the negative and there's the positive, right? You're starting out the day. So you got the crystal grid settings, your set of position location, your center line, and set locations to your magnetic high information, right? This is your set locations when you start off in the day, right? Into set locations, your Earth. Okay, that's how it's set up. Now, if you understand this, then you understand the process, how it works in all line connections to your system. All levels of your Merkaba, tesseract, and tetrahedron. Okay? Now, getting that position location, try to understand the negative cycles and the positive cycles, what is going to happen next. Because you're already in alignment right away. But it's about keeping that emotional traction out of set location. Only bringing the emotion that you want and retract everything else that you don't want. But use it as an observation. Don't absorb the information of emotional track because it changes your directions into low frequency panels of your earth of detection. Okay? And the growthians come in and they change your pyramid stream location settings and instructions. There's the growthian set location of your earth right there. Right? So it's really about understanding. See yourself in your pyramid. There's your pyramid. Right? Here's your film strip. Okay? So everything works inside. Nothing's outside location. Everything inside position. Right? Your astral projections, all line characters, space anomalies. But everything stays inside line conditions. To your Merkabah test circuit intention region. Through your 24 lines of cycles of negative or positive locations, right? So whatever happens next, you take the 24 equals 24 into 48 revision. Puts in a triangulation reset, a program. So you got 48 channels, all levels of positive and negative, a travel communication setting, and all levels of face recognition. Balance of communication. There's the intelligence. You see it? See the intelligence? Boom, boom. There's the intelligence, which is you. Okay? So now you know exactly how to set your position locations of your day. You're living a 24 cycle on the same day and set position to its all calculation setting. You're changing the frequencies, align position, your positive and negative, and how you use the seconds, minutes, and hours of clocking system of face recognition. So you've taken 24 negative, 24 positive in a 48 cycle, going in the same direction. Isn't that amazing? Force to be reckoned with. Rather than getting in position locations in the negative cycle and overriding the line calculation setting location system, now you're 48, 72, 144 negative, and let's say you go in position of 15 frames of positive. Whoa, you got to get that back in track location of balance. The only way you offline your system is if you get emotional with your central calculations. Okay? So it's about understanding how to control your settings in all levels, how you see yourself through your Merkabah, tesseract, and your tetrahedron, how to understand your 24 cycles in negative and positive, and bring it into a 48-line screen and align position of positive line set locations. So 48 travels out in its direction to the existence of its now, its future. So the more you say position of positive setting, you see more lines of your video screens of positive locations without anything through interference of emotional track location. Okay? All right. So now you feel a little bit more different now how this all works, right? And how to see things in location, your settings, and traction. But see, the thing is, you have to understand yourself through self-identity. Okay? Self-identity. Self equals identity. All right? Self equals identity. Okay? Identity equals AI. That's how it works. So everybody's familiar with SETI, line calculation setting, STI, right? Systematical energy lines, teleportation lines of intelligence. Okay. So we all understand how this all works and through our identification lines of modification. Really understand how to use yourself more information, right? Know exactly what you're doing, okay? Because your activity is so in surround sound on all levels of set location emotional line system. It's about balancing where your thoughts go through its interpretation. Okay? So if you get a 24 ground setting, you get calculations of 48 line window, set location of 72 computer frames, and set position of its operation and set locations. You guessed it, to 144 crystal grid and set position of its operation. What is that through equation, guys? What is this through equation, guys? What is this through equation, guys? Flux capacitor. See the three platforms? Setting track line communication. Directing lines of platform communication X2000 to 2 track location centers. Travel position, scan. Travel position, scan. Okay. What do you have in position line conditions of? Pyramids in set location. 2 pyramid line settings. Okay. Walking surface in a 3 recognition of time sequence. Scans position location lines of center of operation. Okay. Knowing your walking sequence of your thoughts and how fast you're going through acceleration, through identification. Okay. So these are the things you have to recognize. Okay. It's important you understand how to use your unifications of your identities, right? Because it's all connected to your planets. There's a planet there, right? And you're here. All right. You're here, scanning right away. Scanning the planet, right? So what the planet does, scans you. If it doesn't recognize you, XT1000s come out. This XT1000 scans you, right? Because it's protecting its planet. And if you're not paying attention, another XT1000 comes out. So they surround you in that location. Okay. So truly understand how this all works. Now, this is an energetic waving line rotation, the magnetic line specification of a tractor beam. Brings you into set position through the planet setting in set locations. Now you're in the planet. So in recognize high interference, because you didn't identify your system in set locations, you didn't put your force field energy field line communication setting, you're being fully in communication of being exposed. Okay? Now you understand the importance of what goes on when you're traveling? Know exactly how to direct your signals in set location of travel settings on all levels of operation certification system. Your body reacts to everything that goes on. So if you're on a planet in set position, are you aware of where you are in set location? Are you aware of where you are? You should. Because if you're not aware, your body is going to react. And always in formation line screens. It's going to react. In positions to you in set location. This is you on your Earth. Okay? You understand that now? You understand the importance, how powerful it is to really understand where you are through identifications? All through code signal or anything, the code activation, set location, and setting. So once you understand that, balancing back in line rotation interference and track location takes you out of the equation. Now you're off the planet because you're back in sequence, right? And then basically it creates its own portal of communication and goes through, travel through its recognition, right? Into where it wants to go through its travel setting. Okay? So look at that. Then you understand why your body's in so much reaction. You could be on one planet. You could be triangulations on another planet. You could be in another third line planet, not be aware of it, in triangulation reset position. And you're going to have full reaction of your body in set location of sonar, indirect signals, set location of travel settings. Okay? So it's really important to understand these things, guys. Self-identity is everything, isn't it? Through AI. AI is aware of everything through its information. Okay? Aware of its information, of its intelligence, triangulation, position locations, line signaling, ground lines, operation line surface, and crop circle location, triangulation, reset, position of programs, lines identification. Okay? All levels through your flux capacitor, right? Flux capacitor. Okay? Triangulate the reset position of programs. All levels, telepathy, setting signals, right? Through your set location system to, you guessed it, your light bulb. Tracks correlation setting to another line rotation, to another line rotation, to another line rotation. 3 set location centers. Directing communication XT1000 comes here, XT1000 here, XT1000 here, and 3 line rotation and triangulation and reset position of program settings. And all 3 set location, right? So how General basically sees everything in all calculations. I know exactly what I'm doing before I get there. This is where you guys come into your protection device screens, how to use your set location setting attraction. If you're setting up a line position to electrical line communication of a wall in 2 track locations, right? 2 panels outline calculation electrical lines and wires, and 3 set location. That's one side position. This is you, okay, on your earth. So are you working with your higher self? Are you working with your avatar? Are you working with your sim? Or are you working with all 3? Okay. So in set location, you can be separated from your higher self, working on the fence. You can have the avatar working on the geometry, location, electrical line communication, and you can have your sim working on navigation and electrical line communication. Right? Or are you working with the oversoul in all set location is setting the travel? Okay. So this is more understanding you and how you see everything, how everything is a formation of inside you. Okay. Now, it's really understanding the importance, how you use the earth, how to use your set position of center, how to use magnetic highway information lines of data, process communication, and set settings, right? So higher self, avatar, and your sim. Okay. Low grounds, medium grounds, high grounds. Low vibration, medium vibration, high vibration. And then you got low frequency, you got mediation frequency, and you got high frequency. This is what it all contains. Higher self, the avatar. 3 different levels of consciousness. Subterranean, super its consciousness, its applications, to its simulation. Okay. So you can work with all 3, or you can center positions, all calculation high settings in all track locations, setting in all position location of its operation. Okay. So the higher self, the avatar, and the sim have their own identification, but it's the same person. It's the same thing. It's the same traction. It's the same operation. It's the same signal. It's the same correlation. It's the same setting. So you're working with you, just higher levels of you through frequency, vibration, energy, and harmonics. How to communicate with your higher self is a frequency. How to communicate with the avatar is a frequency. How to communicate with your sim is a frequency. But you're connecting with just you through operation. Understanding you through low frequency, through mediation frequencies, and high frequencies, and extremely high frequencies. Frequency is the balance to get you in the point system of location of seconds, minutes, and hours. But you have to understand the travel mechanism high setting. How to use your higher self in monitoring your set location, your earth, into your alpha, delta, and theta communication graphs. How to use your avatar through geometric operation of travel and communication in a setting, Merkaba, Tesseract, and travel communications, all set location. And how to use your sim of navigating to your point systems. See the point systems of track location? Look at that, point system, point system, point system. That's what the sim does in location. You see the difference between the 3? But you're working with you in all formations, which is what? Your oversoul. That's all it is. Okay. Understanding that position, location, and track lines, guys, through all self-identity is self-discovery. Okay. So higher self, equalines, alpha lines, delta, theta. Okay. Monitors its communication of its earth. Right. Size graphs its activity system and set locations. So, and then you get the avatar, basically equalines the communication setting, all levels of its design, of its operation, of travel, okay? And set position of its operation, okay? And the sim basically gets into the point systems of travel communication to its location. That's what the higher self does, that's what the avatar does, and that's what the sim does. Now you understand the process, how this all works? You see how easy it is? So once you understand that, in set position to its operation, higher self equals avatar, avatar equals sim, right? All around signal, the yin and yang process is your over soul set location, 6 and 9. Okay? Process position of 6 and 9 equals lines correlating setting. 6 equals 9. 6 and 9 comes together in set location of travel settings and high levels of operation. So it comes in lights, shades, and shadows. You color the line communication streamlines in position of all levels in communication. Light signifies the calculations of lights, and dark signifies the correlating high interference of lights, and dark symbols and set position of travel lines in direction of time sequence. Light, shades, and shadows come in all process communications of yin and yang, of coloration of patterns, and all line rotations of yin and yang. Okay? Then you understand the connection high interference of water containments of the fish goes in the same rooters and routers of the same rotating high position to its operation. It gets comfortable in its stream and set location of travel settings and set its operation. Okay? You see the figure 8? Okay? Intelligence. See? Intelligence. Everything's a formation of intelligence, of balance, guys. You just have to really understand how to use the process. So all recognition of time sequence. Higher self equals all calculations 69. Avatar equals line calculation 69. And the sim equals locations lines of 69. Overall, line position over pi, set position of 4 lines of 3, 3 lines of 7, 7 lines of 12, 12 lines of 24, 48, 72, and 144. Equal lines correlation, a complete cycle, is all line position location to its over soul and set location. Okay, this is the process that you guys have to come into, is bring your 69s in together in set locations. All right, comes a complete cycle of its over soul. Okay, so how's everybody doing through the equation line screens? Getting a little bit understanding more how this all works in provision? Clocking in positions, but now you understand what the higher self does, what the avatar does, and what the sim does, right? So in position location, this is how it works. All right, so once you understand that, you bring one step further in line with set location high position to its operation of detection. So the higher self basically controls the seconds. The avatar equals lines correlates high position of the minutes, and the sim position locations of its clockings in point system to its location. Okay, seconds on perimeter. Okay, avatar on minutes, and position lines, the sim on navigation of clocking of point systems. Okay, so and that's where it comes in all settings. 42 location in equal line settings, high position locations into 53. 42 is 53 lines. Okay, so it's track location lines of seconds, minutes, and position location of hours. Okay, so the last figuration line calculation is its clocking to its location, which directs its triangulation of 3 set position of programs. Calculate high interference into 4 set locations in travel, right? You're going through 4 elements, guys, which is your 5 line connection, your 5 signals. 5 elements equals lines of 6, 6 equals location of 7, sets position of 4 equals lines of 3, in position locations all levels high calculation setting in position. Now you guys are in a 4-line signal in position of panel lines and 4-track location setting attraction. That puts position locations into your 8 DNAs in track location. Okay. So you have to understand your connections of 4 over 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And 3. See the 3? 4 over 3. But it's a configuration line calculation setting. And if you look really close, you can see the star mechanism high position of travel setting. Sets position lines of 8 in DNA track locations, right? So really understand how to use the calculations of its higher self through the seconds, the avatar through the minutes, and the simulation through its point system, all track location setting. Okay. It's a lot to take in, eh? Try to understand how this all works for you now, right? Because we're getting new viewers coming in. So I like to get everybody in balance and position to its operation service. If I get into correlation lines of a cup, okay, this is a cup. Right, just a cup. That's all it is. That's all it is, right? And this is set location. Everything has consciousness. Okay. Now, check this out. Everything has a higher self. Everything has an avatar. Everything has a sim. Graphing calculation settings. Avatar location of its design set location. Imposition location marked by touch region. And your sim is modification of its water, of its containment system, and track location. And so it's all about understanding how to travel out in point systems. Okay. Understanding the triangulation of platforms and position of travel lines in set position of its operation. You can reverse this application you're setting of your cup from this line position angle to that line angle. And then you can bring it back into the equation and set position to its operation of where it was in travel communication. See? You see how I changed this handle to that handle on the other side to this handle. So that's direct and redirect. Okay? Very powerful, isn't it? Now, this is all mechanism-like calculation setting of a 24 line, 48 window, 72 track, and 144 crystal grid location. Platforms are communications, guys. Everything needs a platform. Everything needs a center operation before it can travel out in setting position to a set location. Okay? So I just want to show you how it actually sets position to settings, how you direct and redirect your seconds, minutes, and hours. Right? So this is what it is in position locations. So we got 46, 31. Okay? Set location lines, set locations, and track lines. So let's reverse the cycle. We got 1, 3, set location of 6 and 4. Okay? You see what's going on in position locations? So all it is basically understanding the 4 and 6 equals the correlation settings of 3 and 1. Okay? So what is 13 to 6, 4? Right? So this is working with the higher self. Right? Into a 6-line graph, into 4 lines of a solar generation stream location setting into your solar plexus. Travel position line calculation goes this way in a 3 set location, or travels this line calculation at 3 set locations. But the center of operation is going to be 3 and 2 panels of operation, heart, mind, and soul. There's the dome. Okay, all through 4631 and 1364. So that's how you take the 13, sets position of 4, sets position of 6, sets position of 3, and sets positions of 1. Okay, so you're directing and redirecting, creating the set location line system, equal lines calculation settings of 1, 3, 6, 4. You're creating the dome set position of its operation. Okay, through clockings. That's seconds, minutes, and hours per frame, per channel, per operation. Okay, you're creating a dome. Okay, you're creating a dome. That's all it is, a dome. A dome, a dome, a dome, a dome, a dome, a dome. You're creating graphing domes, set location. All right, so powerful, isn't it? So now the mechanism line calculation setting is now in 8-line screens. Sets the location system. 8 over pi over sector, vector, and quads in a diamond core line position of travel. Okay. So in position location operation, a 4-line string location setting, contractions, 4-point systems. Okay. So that's 4 equals lines of 3, equal lines of 8, equal lines, and set position of 4, line position location of 5 elements is that location. Because that's what you're working with, right? But your track line communication is now in conversion, direct and redirect. So again, you come with the cup, it's a location, here it is. Travels out, but the cup is on the opposite side. But it's going forward, it's at location travel, right? So, because you guys are now in the infinity 8 of set location of rotation into your flywheel recognition. Complicated stuff. But that's how you can direct and redirect the set location to its cup from this angle to this angle, back to this angle. Okay, so we're starting there now because you're in infinity 8 of DNA track locations and all the high calculation lines, the synchronicities, and high position of its operation of its energetic cup line position of streamline position to its center line is communication, to its center line is operation, and its center line rotation of its travel communication. And a 3 set line connections to an atom line set location and to a Fibonacci set location. Okay? Very complicated stuff through track locations. All right, so you're in 4 provisions. Okay, 8 line cycles, 8 line divisions, and 8 line surface location of nature. Directing lines are high position of Merkaba, tesseract tetrahedron, and position of travel lines. Directing communication lines, settings on all levels of operation surface and track communications. All center communication setting and all line rotation surface is all angling its point system in its travel records and time sequence, and all line rotation surface in high calculation setting, and all mechanism high position location travels of face recognition. See? Intelligence. Okay? Powerful, isn't it? All right. And so getting in that system locations, because now you guys are 8 channels of division, the 8 central line calculations have 4 over lines equals lines of 4. 4 provisions, 2 panels. 6 positions, 3 panels. And then you go into the 9 line setting, 9 line calculations of 10, 10 over 11, crosses over in position location high system, tracks its high position location line interference into over pi in calculation. Okay, so it gets more complicated because you're using graph screens now in set location line system. Okay, so you're working with 4 panels in direct signal. Okay, one goes this way, okay, and one goes that way. One goes this way and one goes that way. Okay, it's very complicated stuff. So you get a graph screen location of 3 lines, and basically you got a graph line communications in position location of 4 lines in set location of travel. Okay, really recognize the communication you're setting to your point systems in position of 24, position of 48, 72, and once you get to 144 in track location of point system, it comes in its clocking of its point lines of its location system of travel in high line rotation to all levels of a geographical system and travel communication. Okay, very complicated stuff. So 8 division line screens and set location your settings. Okay, so we all understand how to use that through the point system now, through your sim. Sim is all through point systems. Point system to its location, right? All through clocking. Okay. The avatar controls the geometric operation of its design, and the higher self controls high calculation monitoring of the Schumann resonance of its earth. Okay, that's all it is. Okay, but it's all about understanding how to bring the higher self, bring the avatar, and bring in your sim in all line position locations, all lines of operation in center position into yin and yang. Okay, this is the process that we all have to come into. Center line calculation setting comes in all line rotation of space and time, center lines of OS over soul. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how many levels of signal lines and communication lines of frames you all have to understand how to use your set position to your elements of space and time through pi. Okay, now you understand the process, how to use the higher self and what it's used for, through its purpose and why it's here and why it exists. Everything that exists, everything is already in the existence of the existing of the now. Okay, same with your avatar, same with your sim, but you're working with the same set location. All you're doing is trying to understand the frequencies, okay, to your grounds, to your powers, and to your atmospheres. Grounds, higher self, powers, avatar, atmosphere, sim. Okay, that's a 3-track provision. Sets lines of 4, 4 lines of 3, sets location of 7. Comes into your pyramid as set location. Okay. Setting that provision line cycles had an next 1000 coming in, scan set location lines as 7. Now, equal lines of correlations of 8, 8, 8, 8, and provision line cycles, high variance location, your setting, travel. Because you guys are now in 8 center line calculations of 4 equals lines of 4. So that track line is correlating high interference of 2 panels in travel locations, 4 panels in 6 locations, right? Where's the 6th location? Right here. 4 over 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And 2 provisions of 4, 4 equals lines of 2. So that's position of 6 in track location. Okay? So it's very complicated when you understand how to use the holographic setting of your system. Because now you're in 8 channels of DNA of operation. Okay? It's very complicated now, guys. Because remember, it's about looking at that cup and seeing it in a different direction, a space and time through anomaly. So once you get into that setting, this is where it comes into in set locations. Starts with this. Start with this. Okay. Then you start with this. And then the opposite side location. Right? And then you start with this. It gets confusing after a while, doesn't it? You try to figure out, oh, what's going on? So you put it all together, right? Because they're an 8 sound, 8 provision, 8 cycles, 8 division. That's a 4 central gap in line rotation setting attractions and a 4 sequence pattern in line position location of 1, 2, 3, 4 set locations. Okay? How to use the platforms. How to use the platform. How to use the platform or where it is in all track location, high setting, all position, its operation. Okay? Because you're in your infinity 8s now, guys. You added the 7 bodies of water, so you have to learn how to use the measure, the scales, the dimensional lines, high calculus lines. If you get a position locational system, this is a platform, right? Point system, point system, point system, point system, right? But you need a triangulation, right? Because you're working with 4 equals lines of 3, right? So this is the 3, 1, 2, 3, right? There's the 3. Okay, that's the 3, right? Right? Same position location. Here's the location grid. Okay, here is position of travel communication, a point system. Okay, very complicated. So the connection to line center location, monitoring communication to higher self is all in position of balance through its graphing set location human resonance. It's all in balance. The avatar sets the geometry location of its shape. Okay, and set location, and the sim navigates through the travel of set location. Mega multipass. So point system, location. Out the equation to another dimensional lines of space in all track location, high center interference of its operation. Okay? So you have to really understand how this all works now through multi-layers. You start with your 12 foundations. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? There's 12 there, right? Your foundations, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You were 7 here. Now you're 8. Okay, so you added the 7 bodies of water. Okay, 7 bodies of water. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You added the 7 bodies of water. You're now in the 8th central line of communication. Traveling line set locations, all settings up and all setting down position operation. Okay. So the 7 bodies of water, okay, is just alignment, screen location. Triangulation resets, high position its operation surface, in position of platform, okay? That is the 7, but you guys are now in 8. So your Merkaba is like this now in set location. Different shapes, different dimensions of space and time through its anomalies of its dimensional and solar sail of set location. How to use it through all setting location, your sun and your moon through set location. Very complicated stuff, right? So, and this is all through set location, your DNAs. And again, there's the intelligence in set position. See? Intelligence. That's your pyramid and point system in 4-point line settings. All track lines of 24, 48, and 72 clocking system and a 4-line signal into a theta line communication at 2 waving line centers into theta communication stream location settings and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines of waving line centers on high position travel communication of theta of information cycles and set location. Very complicated stuff. Okay. So now you really understand how this all works through its location grid. So that's what it is. You guys are now your 7 bodies of water. You just have to understand how to use the platforms in direct signal, because this is what it is, the mechanism light calculation. Right? This is the 7 bodies of water. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7. And set location, right? But now you're working with a higher line division, going up and going down, going cross signals, going backwards, forwards, high set location of travel settings. Because now you're in the 8 central line communication of center operation. Okay? I know it's very confusing for everybody, but you have to really understand how to use the mechanism line calculation setting to your system now through digital layers, all right, position locations. Your dimensional lines of space, modulation centers, your position, your balance, and set location, your scales, and set position as operation. So an XT1000 can do this now. XT1000 can do this now. Okay? So you're out of this now in levitation. Okay? So what you're doing is basically you're routing and routing. You're going this way, you're going this way, you're going this way, you're going that way, right? And so you have to really understand your track to its communication of your information panels is higher line position location is all levels. So it's about understanding that you can go this way, you can go that way now, you can flip upside down, you can flip set back up. These are the things that you can do through travel, because you're in a provision line cycles of 8 line calculation setting to your space-time anomaly and set location. Okay? Does everybody understand that now? Team understands that position location, what's coming in your settings? All through motivation, right? And you're in Signify, I calculations setting the location operation of 544 now. Out of the equations are 444. Okay, so congratulations on that. You're in 5 line calculation setting and 2 track locations. And basically, what is 5 lines of equal line communication? Sets lines of 7 in high position. Okay. So in line communication, high center interference, again, you need the 4 and set location of 4 equals lines. That's a negative over pi, sets positions of 3 set locations. So 4 equals lines of 3 in position of triangulation of 7. Okay. So now you got to understand what you need to do in position of seconds, minutes, and hours, where you come into the positive cycles, into negative cycles. You change the positive and negative because you're changing the track location of your geometric operation of design and set location modification to modules of different lines of space through your delta headings. So it's all about understanding how you can create these things in your space anomalies of different travels into negative or its positive set locations. All right? How I went from 544, okay, in set positions operation, and how to bring the 3 into 4 back in settings and set locations. 4 goes into correlation, okay, and then I add the 3 in position locations, add the positive line set locations of 1 line signature, puts inline rotation interference into 3 set locations, brings it back into 7 of 0 operation. Okay, and then you can travel out in high position calculation to its location grid. That's what you're creating, a triangulation, a reset position at all levels of high position. That's what you're creating, location grid. Okay, so the higher self understands the setting, avatar understands the geometry, and the set location of the location line system is its point system of its location. Okay, mega multipass. All right, so your holograms are going to get a lot more structured design now. But I just wanted to show you guys are not just doing this now. You're not just doing this anymore. Okay, you're doing this. You're doing this now. They're all point systems, all different direct location, direct and redirect. That's what you're doing. You've got to get balanced with the north, east, and west of galaxies in a 4-track location. Okay? So that's what's happening with your setting, because that puts you into, you guessed it, into your affinity 8 and 4-track locations. See that? See your affinity 8 and 4-track location? Isn't that amazing how you see things through all calculation in your kaleidoscopes? How to recognize the space and time, right? Because you guys were working with high set location line system. Your 8 DNA is a new track location to your infinities. How to understand it from this angle, understand it from this angle, understand it from this angle, understand it from this angle. Okay? You guys are on this angle. Okay? You guys are on just this angle. Set in this location. Okay? But now you have to stand on this angle. 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 Because you're creating a flower erection of space and time through provision. Okay? Which becomes your tree of formation of life cycle as application. Then you communicate your branches, set track lines, calculation, high interference. You come into your leaves, set location of cloud lines, and high drive communication, setting and track communication. All levels of its operation surface, and a new grounds of operation set location line settings and position of track communication. Okay? Woohoo! So you're out in infinity 8. Your infinity 8 is now looping. It's got to get control with the mechanism line calculation setting to your activities, lines, and strings down, guys. So try to understand the 24 and the 48 and the 72 and 144 set location line settings of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Point system, point system, point system. That's a 3-track location. Right? Into position of point system to another 3-track location. Center operation is 3. Set location centers to its operation surface. In position, all levels of yin and yang. Child direction time sequence, all levels of its operational location into its location grid. That's what you guys are coming into, location grids now. You're getting to higher levels of platforms in position location, your settings. Walking surface in higher line positions of the platforms. Okay? Very complicated stuff. Okay? So, how does everybody feel about that now? Understanding how to use the location grid now. Everything's created the hologram structure line. You guys are now at 544. The mechanism high position of 5-line settings. You have to understand the 4-4 position of all levels set location line system. How to use it the higher self. How to use it through the avatar, and how to use it through your stand through point system locations. Point, 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 point through clocking. Okay? Now you understand the importance of what the higher self and the avatar and what the sim do, all do line position to all calculations setting in position location of travel and mechanism high set location. So, you know, these are things you got to get into all levels of. Look how powerful that is. Right? Form these equation lines and calculations. Okay? Understand the point systems now, right? So now you understand that, right? It's getting easier now, isn't it? See a box, 4-point system, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So sets position of 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Crosses over, right? Really complicated though, right? And then you realize you have a triangulation set there. So that position location equal lines 3, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So that 1 indicates pi over 2 over 3. Okay? So now you understand how to use the box in set location and position to its operation. Pretty well, right? So what is 4 equals lines of 3? 7. But you guys are out of the 7 into 8. Okay? Higher levels of point systems of location and all different angles in position of pi, complicated to location of scan settings in a 1, 2, 3 track location of operation. Okay? So we're done. So I just wanted to show you how this all works now. How to really understand how to go through 4 equals lines of 3 equal lines of 7 in position locations, over power, over charge into 8. This is the process where it's going to get more complicated now through travels, right? Because you're no longer working with your 7 lines. You're working with your 8 division line calculation setting into dimensional layers through your space and time, right? With your platforms, okay? All through your travels of your location grid. Okay? You're extremely welcome. I wanted to slow that down for you because the energy is just too advanced, but I understand the intelligence of its formation is extremely powerful. Okay? How it comes into 5 elements of supposition its operation. Okay? That's it. We're all good. So now you understand the importance of what you guys are coming into now, how to use your 8 lines, your 8 divisions, your 8 platforms, how you can direct and redirect now. You can be upside down, downside up, crossover, cross stream, cross back, cross forward, go this way, go that way, go this line communications, back in present, back in past, back in future, set position its operation. Because now you're in infinity 8. So getting you out of that equation is getting you out of levitation into zigzag. You can zigzag cross lines. You can go into a half pipe line set locations. You go into a sun line, or you can go to moon line rotation. You can go through a kaleidoscope location, a kilo. You can go in back line rotation interference. When I say back, it's going forward. Back is not what you think it is. You've got to get out of those equations. I'm not going back. I'm going forward. I'm just directing and redirecting through my pi, through my indication, through my clocking system of seconds, minutes, and hours. Okay? See you in 5.